All right, guys, this is Neon. This is Clownfish TV, and this is me attempting to record a video. My voice is still not 100%. I was out sick for like a week, but thank you very much for those of you who still tuned in and listened to Geeky. In fact, a lot of you who are listening to this video are going to probably be confused as to why she's not in it. We're going to talk about the video game industry. We're going to talk about Ubisoft not having a very good week. Again, what else is new? But also several other studios. Lots of studios are laying people off, shutting down. It's concerning. It's also not surprising. I feel like the video game industry is in the midst of a sea change right now. There are some very, very successful indie studios out there, but AAA gaming is a tough racket. I think it's definitely going to change fundamentally in the very near future. And, it's going to be hard because I think a lot of AA studios or, indie developers are going to be kind of squeezed out. We're seeing more and more studios that relied on maybe partnerships that worked with a Humble Bundle or whatever that they're getting squeezed out. Basically, you're going to have to be more DIY, I think, if you want to make games, or you want to make comics, or you want to make movies, or any of that. Like, you're going to have to be able to handle pretty much everything yourself and not rely on some big conglomerate or some venture capitalist or something, what I'm saying, to give you your break. It's not going to happen. And this is the same thing we're trying to get through to animators, and they just don't want to hear it. They're like, no, things are fine. It's like, no, not really. But they can be. Like, you can put your show on YouTube, and if it does well, you can get it optioned. That's probably how things are going to work going forward. Same with video games, same with comic books. You have to produce something that people like and show proven sales, and then you probably will get your stuff picked up. And that's the new normal, I think, for everybody going forward. It doesn't matter what arm of entertainment you work in or whatever. I think you need to prove that people actually like your stuff, and then you will eventually have the studios or have Hollywood or have publishers or whoever come to you with an offer to take your project bigger, to a larger audience, just like we used to do, right? But we had a decade or two where people were just being handed opportunities, handed massive amounts of cash, which they burned. Now we're going to talk about Ubisoft. I'm not really talking about them specifically, but I am going to talk about some other indie studios that are closing. And it's just, this is a new reality, guys. I don't know what to tell you. Everything is changing very quickly. So please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. Check out Derezzed Gaming News on Twitter while you're at it. We're going to try something new ourselves. I figure, if our website is not making any money, we might as well just tweet shit, right? Because it's kind of at this point, everything is up in the air. It's coming from game developer. Ubisoft's Prince of Persia Lost Crown team reportedly disbanded after disappointing sales. And I have heard reactions from this. Some people said it was actually a very good game. Other people said that, they definitely were kind of ham-fisted, I guess, with the representation. I don't know. I can't say. I haven't played it. I'm only covering it because we are discussing Ubisoft and their financial situation, their self-inflicted financial situation, which they've blown their freaking feet off with a shotgun. Said Ubisoft has confirmed that most of the team on Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown have been moved to other projects that will benefit from their expertise here. So one of their teams who created the Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown has reportedly been disbanded. In a new video, French journalist Gautaz, alleges Ubisoft decided to throw in the towel with the 2024 side-scroller months after its January release. Despite solid reviews, they previously indicated the game did not meet sales expectations. Oh my God, it's almost like it doesn't matter how well received even your game is, or how diverse and inclusive it is, or whatever. It's got to meet sales expectations. The YouTuber claimed that the staff he spoke with called The Lost Crown the best production of my life. The same sources allegedly hoped that the team could serve as a rehabilitation zone for staff burnout on Beyond Good and Evil 2. Last year, they were under investigation by French authorities after dozens of developers went on sick leave in 2022. Many of these employees were said to be team leads, and burnout was a specific reason listed for their leave. Yeah, I know that it's another Ubisoft office, I think, but they are on strike, or they went on strike because they did not want to go back to the office. Burnout's a real thing in gaming, AAA gaming especially. I do agree with that. Maybe that's why I was sick for a week. Maybe I'm burned out. I mean, honestly, we haven't had a break producing content in 6 years. I think 6 years. Even when we were sick, we had COVID, like actual COVID, and we still did videos. We've gone on vacations. We've done videos. If it's not YouTube, it's the other stuff. We have other businesses. We're doing stuff with that. So it's a real thing. Holidays, we bank, work ahead for holidays. It kind of sucks sometimes. It really does. I'm sitting here thinking about it. I'm like, yeah, it does kind of suck, but, anyway, this YouTuber claimed the staff he spoke with called The Lost Crown the best production of my life. Same sources hoped, they would work on it. Months later, they appointed a former managing director, Berlin's former managing director, to take up this office. They alleged that the Lost Crown team members pitched a potential sequel, which Ubisoft rejected. One alleged reason was given that it could cannibalize the first game's long-term sales. And they break it down. They actually pushed Assassin's Creed Shadows back to 2025. I do not believe it's going to come out in February, but who knows? It might have to come out just because they need the money so damn bad. I don't know. Star Wars Outlaws was a massive failure for them too. They said on the business side, employees at Ubisoft's teams in Milan have recently struck in protest of the 3-day return to office policy. They're supposedly going to get bought out, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So it's not just Ubisoft. We have this one. This is just today. This is in the last 24 hours. Inflection Games UK division is reportedly closing down. So this is another game studio closing down. We have, what's this one? This is Studio Thunderhorse. And this is an indie studio. And this game actually looks really cute. They faced a number of challenges and development hurdles leading to a decision. They said in a post shared on social media, the California-based studio, well, that might be their problem right there. I hate to say it, but it might be. Cited a number of challenges and development hurdles. After more than a decade of developing games and being part of this incredible community, we had to close the studio down. Despite our best efforts over the past months, we've encountered a number of challenges and development hurdles that made it clear that stepping back is the right choice for the long-term health of the team and studio. It added, it's been an amazing journey full of passion, creativity, and most of all, the chance to connect with all of you. They released 2 games. They were founded in 2015. And they released Samurai Blitz and Raccoon Rascals that year. And they had their first major game, Flynn, Son of Crimson, which Humble Games published. Now, Humble Games was was purchased by IGN, I think. And they shut that down. And they had a lot of pretty well-known indie titles. I think Forager was one of theirs. And I know my son enjoyed that quite a bit back in the day. And they just shut them down and left a lot of people hanging. They're developing Ronin Rush. I don't know if somebody else is going to pick it up. But I'm assuming this game is Flynn, Son of Crimson. Yeah, it actually looks pretty good. Another studio shutting down. This is Hi-Rez. They're closing 2 titles following layoffs. They said that Divine Knockout and Realm Royale Reforged are being shut down on February 17th. They're going to remove the games from digital platforms. They're making an unspecified number of layoffs at the start of October. So why is all this happening now? Because we're into Q3. And from a business perspective, Q3 gives you a pretty good indication of how things are going to shake out for the rest of the year. And if things aren't looking better by Q3, if there's not an upward trend, chances are there will not be an upward trend. Now, you have to account for the holidays, at least with retail. But in January, everything's going to drop off a cliff. And, I think a lot of people are looking at that. That's why I think we're going to see, in addition to all these layoffs and shutdowns in gaming, I think we're going to see a lot of layoffs and shutdowns in the blogging space too. In fact, I'm going to have to make some difficult decisions here because I'm looking at our financials for some of our blogs and I'm like, it's just not working. You know, it's the revenue's not there. The ad revenue's not there. You know, thank you, Google, for that. But yeah, I think we're going to see the shutdown. I think we're going to see the shutdown of a lot of video game blogs and pop culture blogs, nerd blogs. They're corporate owned. I'm not talking individual blogs. If somebody wants to spend their time blogging about things that they like and get, you know, a couple dozen views on it or whatever, that's fine. But I think video game journalists are going to be out of work because there are going to be fewer games to cover, fewer companies to cover, fewer gamers interested in hearing about that content from people like Alyssa Mercanti, right? Which means the views are going to drop off. People are going back to older games, which means they're going to go out and, you know, go to like GameFAQs or something, look for, you know, walkthroughs from like 20 years ago. And they're not going to go look for the latest news on whatever game they're not going to buy. I mean, so I think we're going to see a huge shakeout pretty soon. That's my opinion. So watch this space. Lots of crazy stuff happening. Speaking of gaming news, go out to Derezed News on X. We're going to attempt to bring you gaming news directly on X. We're just going to post news and updates on X and see how that goes. I mean, I guess I figure if you're not making much money on a website anyway, it's easier to read on X. That's my take on it. So we'll see. There's quite a independent scene growing on X for gaming journalists that exist outside of the vetted and approved blogosphere. And I'm actually pretty excited. I think that we have a lot of opportunity for actual journalists and actual gamers to make their voices heard and speak to, you know, like-minded individuals. And it's not even a political thing. I think a lot of people that are on X right now just want the freedom of speech. They want, you know, a level playing field, and it has not been that way in the gaming news space for many, many years. Right? It's been locked down, and now everything's been opened up, which is why people, again, like Alyssa Mercanti, I believe, are getting so pissed off because they know they are a relic from another era, and things are changing. So I'm going to wrap it up, guys. Please subscribe. We'll talk later. Join the reef. Go to clownfish-.com. That's clownfish-.com. You will get exclusive access to podcasts and videos and comic strips and more, as well as merch discounts. Check it out. If you were a member, you could get this t-shirt, this dismal t-shirt on our website. You'd get a 10% discount on that. You can also join in the community on clownfish-.com. Thank you so much for the support.